Good morning, everyone. 8:05. Happy you're with us. A sunny, beautiful Monday morning, February 23rd, 2026. Yes, sunshine out there. Looks really beautiful, but it's not going to get all that warm today. 42 for the daytime high. Sitting right now at 29 degrees. So bundle up for a little bit. That sun will help a lot today. Partly cloudy Tuesday, high of 55. And then Wednesday, 65 the daytime high. And then we get some rain in here on Thursday. Rainy, rainy, rainy Thursday. But again, temperatures still in the mid 60s. Not so bad. We'll take that. Hope everybody had a fabulous weekend. Maybe you took advantage of the tax-free weekend with severe weather preparedness, the things that you needed for severe weather. And I loaded up on batteries just because I needed them. I don't know how it happens. You buy that big pack of like AA, and the next thing you know, you turn around and you're like, where'd all the AA batteries
Well,
go?
and every year that's one of the things Santa brings.
Oh, nice.
And I need to tell Santa he can wait until the tax-free weekend.
Right, save a little bit of money.
That's an annual Santa gift is all our batteries.
I've never thought of that.
Yeah.
I think that's a great gift. That is
that good?
fantastic. Yeah, I like it a lot.
I've got one of those. Have you gotten one of those cases yet? That hold
Yes,
all
that
those?
holds them and
Aren't
keeps them
those-
organized. I'm
Isn't
like,
that- see,
okay, you know
I
what?
love it.
We've really gotten nerdy.
Uh-oh.
We've gotten nerdy because we've got a way
let
to.
me tell you, life is all over the place, and if I can have a little bit of organizations in certain areas I can control, life goes better.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
I know. The more organized. I
Yep.
did that with a closet the other day. What was the other thing? Shoes. I did something with shoes because my shoes were everywhere. I'm like, this is driving me nuts. An organization in my world, that gives me peace.
It gives me great peace. I've
It
got
does.
several drawers that are
Yeah.
needing some attention.
Yeah.
And I will enjoy that chore because it feels so good.
Yeah, delete, delete, delete.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's get into this because you've got a little background in it and some experience with it. This story we heard about it and truth is coming out now. Conservatives are pretty upset about this, and I totally agree with them. J.P. Morgan Chase closed Donald Trump's personal and business bank accounts. This was following the January 6th event at the Capitol on 2021. We heard about this. Chase is America's largest bank by assets, was forced to admit closing the accounts of Donald Trump, launched a $5 billion lawsuit last month, Donald Trump did, against the bank and its CEO, Jamie Dimon. Steve Guest, a former communications aide to Republican Senator Ted Cruz, said in a social media post that this guy has some serious explaining to do, and I would agree. So you've got a bank that decides that they don't like whatever happened on January 6th involving Donald Trump, and so they close his accounts. But you say that this isn't that uncommon.
Right. Now, the reason they did it is uncommon.
Is uncommon.
Somebody
that's the part
didn't,
that's uncommon.
Right, that's uncommon. But banks have the absolute right to not let you be their customer anymore. It is standard for them to notify you in writing and give you 60 days to move your money somewhere else. Okay?
And the reason for that would be what? You're tied to a drug operation or you're tied to something that's
right,
a little illegal.
You're aggressive with employees when you come in. That is a reason. You cuss the teller out because she doesn't want to cash your check. Okay?
I hope people aren't doing that.
You wouldn't believe how often banks are letting people go because of the aggressiveness of the customer. Okay? The other reason is mama didn't follow my advice, puts bad kid on their account. The kid is showing up at the bank, and it's quite obvious to the bank that the kid or bad family member is stealing money. They can then they don't always want to make
them freeze the account.
Well, you've got to be real careful with that.
Mm-hmm.
They have to talk to the customer and say, "Here's what we're doing." And if the customer, the customer's got some dementia or something, they can send a letter and say, "We think it's in your best interest to move your accounts." So the banks have the authority to do that. Now, just because they don't like somebody's political move, that's where the issue is.
That's
you
the
can't
line
do that.
you can't cross.
But do understand they have to give you notice. They have to give you enough time to move it. And, with Trump, he probably had millions of dollars there take it somewhere. Somebody else would love his business, but they can't do it just for that reason. But the aggressiveness, that kind of thing.
So this is a situation of we have the right to refuse service to anyone we choose up to a point.
Yes. I mean, they've got to have real reasons and not just, we don't like what you did at the Capitol. We don't like your speech. We don't like how you were firing people up. And that's why they ended up having to settle.
So is this lawsuit material?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I think so.
And
because of that.
Trump
Yep.
should be able to win this.
Yes, I would think he could.
Now, I don't know that he'll
But-
get $5 billion, but he'll probably win this case.
I had a bank reach out to me last year. There was an attorney in their lobby with a power of attorney trying to access client money. And the bank vice president reached out to me, and I said, don't do it. And if that, you can tell the lawyer I said that, have them call me. And they made that woman move her account because that's just real suspicious. So they,
I would
they
think
can
that's,
do it.
yeah, I would
They
think
can do it. Yep. Yep.
that probably puts the bank and the vice president of that bank in a kind of a strange situation.
Well, they can
because-
always say, "Hey, you've got
you
a
can make-
valid
you
power
can-
of attorney. I can
well,
do it." But that bank cares about their customers'
and
money.
Here's the thing: that
Mhm.
power of attorney piece of paper could be fake.
Yeah.
It's not even real.
Right, right.
You-
This
and-
was a licensed attorney went into this bank trying to access client money, and look, may have had a legitimate reason, but you don't go in there screaming at the bank, "Give me this money." So, and I was hoping so bad that attorney would call me. I said, "Oh, give them my name, my phone number, my email. Tell them to reach out to me and let me." And they offered that. Do you think
Oh.
I ever heard from that attorney?
No, you didn't
I did
hear
not.
from him.
I did not. So that's an interesting case, but there is reasons banks can do that. And they have different rules. When you go open an account at a bank, you need to ask them these questions. What would be a circumstance where you would make me leave?
Well, the only reason
know.
I would be afraid to ask that is to be like, why is she asking me this up front? Is she assuming there's going to be a problem?
No, she listened to 99.5, which gives you all knowledge.
All knowledge, right?
All the world's problems have been
Uh-huh.
solved.
Well, and it's interesting that you brought that up because there was we were talking about how elderly people are being taken advantage of where they're going and they're taking money out of their account, and we had a teller, somebody that works at a bank, that sent us a text message and said this happens a lot where we say, hold on a second, and try to wave a red flag because this particular person keeps coming in and taking X amount of dollars out, and they're depleting their account, and they start asking questions about maybe where the money is going. And a couple of times this particular teller said we were able to help stop an elderly person giving their money away to somebody that they shouldn't have been.
Right,
And it happens a lot.
right.
And I was like, well, God bless you for at least raising the red flag
Yeah,
and
yeah.
being
And that's why,
concerned about it when
you know,
something looks a little off.
And, I'm not a big fan of folks banking with companies that don't have live branches. You take away your ability to go talk to somebody. So I'm not a fan. And it's so important.
Is that old school? Because we're,
Yeah. But I've just seen so many
You know what I'm
things
saying?
yeah, sure.
we're like, I got to be able
Oh,
to
I can get a
feel it.
better interest rate going with, Joe Blow
Uh-huh.
that's halfway across the well, then you're going to take away your
Your-
opportunity to go sit and look at somebody.
Mhm.
And I tell all of my clients, especially my elderly clients, you need to have a relationship with your bank. And if where you're going is a lot of turnover, that's not where you need to be banking. Because especially as you get older, and
You've gotta be
we've
able
got
to-
we've got lots of choices of lovely banks. And
Oh, yes,
credit
we do.
unions.
Oh, yes, we do.
But if you think you're tech savvy and can deal with a bank that doesn't have a branch, just be careful and watch everything you do.
And I think that's wise advice because I think so many people realize now, well, we got all this technology,
Mhm.
what could possibly go wrong if let's say I've got $20,000 and I want to put it over here with this particular bank that's out in California.
Yeah.
God, maybe not that state.
Right.
Let me pick a different one.
Texas.
But
maybe.
yeah, maybe we're in Texas and, they don't have they have no branches here, no nothing. This
Right.
is all going to be via the internet. There's plenty of young people, but I have no problem with
Right.
that.
And a lot of those no box branches can offer better rates because they're
Sure
not
they
having
can.
to pay that
Right.
overhead. But you just got to be super tech savvy. And hey, good luck if something gets misused in your account. Deciding where to file suit, okay? Because you got to find the defendant. If the bank screwed up, Okay.
You got to
And
find the defendant.
that's
See
right.
right there, that's
Yeah.
trouble.
Yeah. So, I'm just not a big fan. And I know there's a lot, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Oh, yeah, I do. I live in the real world
Well, and
see what happens
you
to
may
folks.
do it that way and never have a problem. But
Right.
if you do have a problem,
Right.
then what is your recourse?
That's right. It's much more difficult.
Yeah,
Much
yeah.
more difficult.
Good advice. Thank you, Brooks. 8:15 back in a moment. You're listening to Dixon and Vining on Talk 99.5. $8:19. Good morning. Dixon and Vining at Talk 99.5, 99.5.com, and now on YouTube, Real Talk 99.5 TV if you want to check us out there. I hope you had a chance to check out a great show that happens on the weekend here on our station, Saturday and Sunday from 2 until 3 o'clock. It's Danny Knowles and the Knowles Group with so much great information. We were just talking about finances, and sometimes that can get we can get really deep in the weeds with it. Danny Knowles is this is something that he does every single day. So if you don't have a financial plan together, just as Brooks will tell you, as important it is to have a will, it's also important to have a financial plan. You can get one put together, customized just for you, with Danny Knowles and the Knowles Group. You'll learn so much on the weekends with these shows. He just has some incredible information, and it will certainly inspire you to reach out to him so that he can put this together for you, because there's a lot that goes into it. So he takes the stress out of it. You just give him a few minutes of your time and get this put together. Danny Knowles and the Knowles Group. The KnowlesGroup.com is the website, N-O-L-E-S, theknowlesgroup.com. Reach out to him today and get that done and put it to bed, and then you don't have to worry and stress over it anymore. It's Danny Knowles, theknowlesgroup.com. All right, let's get into it. The 3 things that you need to know.
And now, it's Dixon and Vining's top 3 things you need to know.
Scary times in Mexico after cartel boss El Mencho was killed. His son has also been taken into custody, and Mexican forces, man, I'll tell you, it's looking crazy down there. If you have any plans to go to Mexico, and we're talking like Puerto Vallarta and some of those other areas, be very careful. We even have some airlines that are now saying, you know what, we're canceling flights down there. There's too much going on. There are fires that have been set to buildings and buses. The cartel is running wild in the streets there. And again, this is all because of them being upset about El Mencho being killed. He was the head of the cartel. And so the cartel that is left there is right now just causing chaos in those areas. City buses burned, and tourists are pretty much stunned to see the plumes of smoke, and instead been told just to make sure you shelter in place. I cannot imagine, Brooks, if I said, a couple of weeks ago, somebody said, I've been to Puerto Vallarta. It's a lovely place. You should go, and I'm like, I don't know about, I'm just not sure about Mexico. There's a little too much.
Yep.
And then I'm like, this is exactly why I don't want to go. Can you imagine? Oh, Val's sheltered in place while she's on vacation.
Yeah. Oh, it's
Scared
just
to
so
death
scary.
that maybe you're going to get kidnapped and kept by the cartel?
Well,
no,
and if the
that's not
police show
happening.
up, you don't know if they're legitimate police or cartel.
I don't know who they are.
Yeah.
I'm a tourist. I got no idea.
Goodness.
Could you imagine?
I just couldn't imagine.
I'd be like, no, and no, no, and no thank you
Yep.
again. I mean, what a mess in Mexico. They've really got to get this figured out. I mean, the cartel is just running it all. They really are. And even with our help with the military in Mexico with taking out this guy, they've got a lot more to do.
Oh,
A lot more. Because
yes.
where there's one, there's 1,000
Yep,
more.
That's right. And then their power vacuum causes more people to get killed. So all that goes on. It's
Well,
just-
and there's this concern too that we're fooling ourselves if we don't think that there's some cartel that's here in the U.S.
oh,
They're
absolutely.
here. There was an apartment down on 280 past Home Depot. If you remember that whole
Right,
story a couple
right.
years ago,
Yeah.
where a bunch of people were killed, and it was the cartel that killed them. It
Yeah.
was like, oh, isn't this great?
Well, and if
So-
you, Valerie, I last time I was on, I told you this was before we started blowing up ships coming out of Venezuela,
Mm-hmm.
that there were Venezuelan gangs in Alabama.
Oh yeah,
And they've kind of gone below the radar because they don't kill each other. They sell drugs, okay? And then Trump starts blowing up these boats, and I said, you know what? Here we go. Because when I first heard, those Venezuelan drugs on the other side of Birmingham,
You're like,
Venezuelan gangs. I went,
It's hard to
"Venezuelan
believe
gangs?
that, right.
Venezuelan gangs.
right.
That, of
Well,
course,
that's-
came in when we had open
But
borders.
open
I'm
borders.
sure.
Thank you, Joe Biden and the
Um,
Biden administration for making that happen. Even though Donald
so-
Trump's doing his dead level best to get them out,
Right.
but this is what you get.
Yeah.
And then you have this situation in Mexico, and so now everybody's kind of looking over their shoulders. The cartel here.
Right.
Are they going to do something to American citizens as retaliation?
Very possibly. They've got some of those Texas towns on the border. They did alerts to them too.
Mm-hmm.
Get ready.
Yep. The U.S. military buildup in the Mediterranean Sea is getting very large, and President Trump has said that strikes on Iran could target specific individuals that could lead to a regime change. That's the hope. It is not clear which individuals, but I think we have a pretty good idea about who those targets may be. Donald Trump has been trying to get Iran to come to the table to figure out a deal over its nuclear program, because you're not going to have a nuclear program, but that hasn't happened. So there may be a limited military strike to begin with that would apply pressure to Iranian leaders, and that could happen at any point in time because we are so built up there. We
We've
are
got
ready
a-
to roll.
We've got a huge.
We are ready to
presence
roll.
there.
hmm So we'll keep an eye on that. And again, some of the speculation was, they wanted to wait till the Olympics were over with. Okay, the closing ceremonies were last night, and we'll see what happens. But I think this is going to happen sooner than later. And again, if and when it happens, we're on it, and we'll keep you up to date. Got to talk about this incredible win by the USA men's hockey team Sunday morning. They defeated Canada in overtime 2-1. It is the first time that we have won gold since 1980. That was Miracle on Ice, of course, 46 years ago, Brooks. 46 years ago.
I remember it.
Woo!
Do you remember
Yes, I
it?
do remember it.
Yep.
It was very exciting. Jack Hughes, who is from Florida, he got high stick, lost some teeth in the mix of that, and then he's the one that scored the goal and won this whole thing. I could not be more proud of this team and so happy for them. And the stories that have come out of this particular game and what happened after the hockey match brought tears to my eyes on Sunday. I was in front of the TV, and I don't know how many of you watched it, but the story unfolded like this, and many of you may know Johnny Gaudreau. He was an NHL forward and frequent Team USA representative. He died in August of 2024 at the age of 31. He and his brother were cycling and were struck and killed by a car in New Jersey. And again, he was part of this team. He should have been at this Olympics. It happened the day before his sister's wedding. Just wait. His parents were there in the stands in tears after the game. They were there to support the U.S. team, even though both of their sons had been killed and that Johnny, again, was supposed to be playing. Johnny's wife was there with his two daughters. One wasn't even born yet when he died, but the U.S. team went over, lifted both of the two girls up, carried them out on the ice to get a team picture with their father's jersey being
Ooh,
held up.
That's good stuff.
I was in my living room in tears.
You're giving me a lump in my throat.
I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, could we add anything more to this story?
Wow.
It was incredible.
Neat story.
It was really, really awesome. And I'd love to hear. I know that there's been some controversy because we've had some, U.S. athletes that, haven't been very proud and haven't said what they needed to say. This team did.
Yeah.
And Jack Hughes did that. He said, I'm so proud of my country. I love my country. And I was just like, oh my gosh.
What a
you
breath
win.
of
This
fresh
is-
air.
thi-
Yes.
It was everything you needed it to be for it to be the end of the Olympics and to close it out with a win. And the women, congratulations to the
Yeah.
women winning gold.
Yep, they did it.
And the first thing I thought of, oh, this is great. They're all going to go to the White House. We'll have the women's hockey team and the men's hockey team and everybody with their gold medals. Isn't this awesome? It just, come on. You couldn't
Yeah,
write
nope,
a better
Couldn't write it.
story.
Couldn't write it. It's
Well,
good stuff.
and the other thing that caught me about this is the fact that both the men's and the women's games are USA versus Canada. Both go into overtime. Both end up on a 2-1 score.
Yep.
Yeah, is that not kind of
That's-
weird?
You can't write that. That's good.
And the
That's
fact
good.
that they won on February 22nd, which is, as you pointed out,
46 years
exactly
to the day.
46 years. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And it gives me goosebumps, does
Yeah.
it not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So can I do a little Olympic deep dive?
Yes, give us some.
All right. So one of the things
That's
that was
Summer Olympics is deep diving.
yeah, very good, very good. The one of the big issues for the Miracle on Ice 46 years ago is back then we did not allow professional athletes to compete in the Olympics. You had to be college, couldn't
Mhm.
have gotten paid. And all of Russia's athletes were seasoned professionals.
Yeah, see, that's
And so even today, now professionals can play, but we put our teams together, kind of like an all-star team.
Mhm.
Whereas the teams we're playing, a lot of them have been together for years,
right.
which is another huge,
That's an advantage.
huge
yes.
deal
Right.
that we can pull it together like that.
Mhm.
Do you know that our players, our athletes, do not get paid? Did you know that?
I think I did know that. Yeah.
They get money for medals
Mhm.
from the Olympic group, not from our government. Okay? So there was a billionaire that donated money for our athletes to get paid, $200,000 each. You know what the catch is? You get your first 100,000 when you turn 45. I don't I don't understand that.
I don't either.
But when I saw that yesterday, I went, "That's crazy."
Yeah.
A lot of countries pay their athletes. That's why they've. It's amazing when we can pull this off.
Yeah.
Lindsey Vaughn's thinking, I only got 4 more years.
Yeah. that's
Here's
right.
another interesting aspect. A lot of these guys were supposed to fly into New York from the games
Uh-oh.
last night and today.
Oops.
They're flying to
Thinking no.
Miami because there's too much snow and they can't get into New York.
Yep.
So they'll be in the Sunshine State for, I don't know, till
There
they
you
can get
go.
flights out.
There you go.
But how about that?
There you go.
Congratulations. Great
Yes.
job. Most medals in a Winter Olympics, I think is what I heard.
Yep.
Overall.
And most golds in a
yeah.
Winter
Yeah,
Olympics
so
for the U.S.
Yeah.
Our gold record was 10. We got 12 this time. Our total was 33. Norway was number 1 at 41.
Go USA. Go USA.
USA.
8:35, Dixon and Vining at Talk 99.5, talk995.com. Your calls, your text, 545-9950. Richard Dixon out today, back tomorrow. Brooks Burdett in and getting some text messages, Brooks.
Yay.
A bunch of good mornings. Great to hear your voice. Glad that you're here. Angry Trucker saying that. Ricky sends this. Does Brooke write wills and trusts?
Well, she did, but I am moving toward retirement. You are still more than welcome to reach out to me. I'll be happy to refer you to a friend. But let me say this. Everybody's thinking these trusts are such a great thing. They're not always. I would say more than 70% of the time, it's not what you need.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be very careful. They're quite expensive. If you're thinking you need a trust, first of all, who told you that? And if it was a podcast, question it. If it was somebody at church, question it. These groups that are traveling around, question it. You need to talk to an attorney who prepares those type documents, but also does regular wills. Because if you go just to a lawyer who loves to do trust, he's going to talk you into trust.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm telling you, over 70% of the time, a trust is not what you need. But there are times that you do. So you can reach out to me. I'll be happy to answer your questions.
Because people will
and
be like,
lead
well,
you.
when do I need it?
Right.
They'll be like, oh, help me out with this one.
Folks that have multiple rental properties that they don't want to sell, they want to pass it on through their estate for generational wealth, that's a need for a trust. If your assets aren't worth about $2 million or higher, don't waste your time or money. And oftentimes, even if your portfolio is that large, you still don't need a trust. So be very careful. They can run $7,000 to $10,000 to $15,000. People think they're the same price as a simple will, which is a few hundred, and they're not.
Mm-hmm.
And if somebody's told you they'll do a trust for a few hundred, I would question that trust, covering all the things you need it to cover.
Yeah, because there's a
So,
lot that goes into that.
But then there are times you need a trust. So it would depend on your individual situation. But whoever sent that text, you're welcome to reach out to me, 205-661-1800, or email me directly, brooks@burdettlaw.com, and I will answer your questions and guide you.
Oh, perfect. Thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
that. Yep. Switching gears just a little bit to entertainment news, and I know it's been around a long time and made a lot of music, and man, does he ever have a following, but they're not going to probably be able to see him in concert anytime soon. Barry Manilow is hitting a pause on his concert tour. He's got some health setbacks, forcing him to cancel shows just weeks before his highly anticipated arena dates. Do you want to take a guess at how old Barry Manilow is?
I can't guess because I know.
82.
Steve, would you have guessed 82?
He's on the phone.
Oh,
82
sorry.
years old.
82.
Yep. And it apparently set this whole thing up that he was going to do this whole tour. And I know he's got a lot of fans that love and adore him. Looks like maybe he's had a little plastic surgery. So
Either
to say.
plastic surgery or because of
Botox
his
or
cancer,
something?
he's on steroids.
Maybe. It could be.
steroid because that's some of what his swelling looks like.
Could be.
Do you know he said that he's dealing with lung cancer,
Mhm.
but I think it's been like small spots. He said he can't sing 3 songs without sitting down. Isn't that sad?
Who are
That
we
is
talking about?
sad. Barry
Barry
Manilow.
Ah,
Yeah, that he gets out of breath
You're
really
right.
easy. And again,
Right.
anytime you're going through any kind of cancer treatment or
Right.
something like that,
Yeah.
it's just tough.
It
and,
takes so much
You don't
out
have
of
the
you.
energy.
But
yeah.
does it not amaze you how old these people are? I mean, we expect them to not change.
Richard saw Rod Stewart and said he was
Yeah.
he's 80 plus and
I
he
know.
did a fantastic
I
job.
mean, and that touring is grueling.
Oh, I couldn't imagine. I
You
couldn't
know?
imagine just having a stint out in Las Vegas.
right.
Like you're staying in one place
Yeah.
and then your setup is there and you just get on stage. That's
Right.
still not easy.
No, they
And a
say
lot
it
of
just
these-
very physical and wears you out. But as a lot of our musicians are passing away and stuff, it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they're that age. Well, of course they are. I'm aging. Why wouldn't they be aging?
Yeah.
But to think Barry Manilow's 82.
we don't think of that.
No,
We still have him back in.
but I've heard that his singing is still pretty good.
It's
Some of
amazing.
them you're like, Heart doesn't need to tour anymore. No. When she came
Truth be
out
told.
in a wheelchair singing, I went, no.
No more.
How you can't get air in your lungs sitting in a wheelchair.
There comes a point where you
That's
just
enough.
say, now it's time to retire.
Yeah.
That would
I
be
mean,
it, right?
Leave while you're on top.
have we carbon dated Keith Richards, by the way?
Maybe it's
Yeah.
time.
I mean, I'm you know,
Yeah.
we really
He
don't
could
know
be
how old he is.
He could be old as a Shroud of Turin.
He could be
You
about
really could.
1,500 years old.
Wow.
I mean, for all we know.
Yep.
He's chemically preserved.
Well, and it was, the Doobie Brothers,
Mm-hmm.
Michael McDonald.
Yeah.
He stayed seated the
He
entire
did.
time.
He did. Boy, he's still.
but wasn't he at a piano?
God,
Ah,
yeah,
he's
he was
still-
at a
He was
piano,
at the
but
piano,
but
Yeah.
usually when you do that, you
Yeah.
kind of move around the stage a little bit, anyways.
Right.
During when there's a break or something like that, he didn't really.
Boy, his voice.
His voice
Ooh,
is right
he's
on.
good. He's good.
Love that.
Do you want to go see the Eagles in Vegas?
It's funny that you said that because I was looking at tickets. You want to take a shot at how much tickets are?
$350?
Oh
Were the-
gosh, you're not even
$350.
close.
They're more
They-
than
they
three.
started at like
350 might
1,000.
barely get you into
They
Las
start
Vegas.
they go from
Ah.
1,000 to 3,000
Wow.
a ticket.
I have heard that show
Is that the one with the sphere?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
sphere.
I have heard
I
the
actually-
show is amazing.
Yeah, I have heard that too, but not for $1,000.
For $1,000 to $3,000, it better be damn well amazing.
Hotel, round trip airfare,
Mm-hmm.
tickets, and you
And a
haven't
ride
even,
to and
you
from the
haven't eaten
airport.
anything
No,
yet.
you hadn't gotten there yet. But boy, there's some good cheap flights there.
Yeah, you
You
can
know?
you can get cheap flights, but
Right.
are you paying two of you with $2,000 worth of
I
tickets?
just don't know.
You got to really this is where I am with things now.
Yeah.
You got to really love them. Like,
well, and if I
you
hadn't
know.
already seen them, maybe. But
Yeah.
God, they put on a great show. Oh, they put on a good show. I saw them when they came here. They still play everything. Golly, they were good. But yep.
back
yep,
to
yep.
Barry Manilow for
Yes.
just a second.
Mhm.
He told his doctor that he's been using the treadmill 3 times a day. He's been trying to get his lung capacity back up where it needs to be. On the 82 on the treadmill 3 times a day. You go, Barry.
You go, Barry.
Could you imagine?
Mm.
Yeah, but like his doctor said, look, if you can only sing 3 songs, maybe do what Rod Stewart did. Rod Stewart not only sang, but he also had some other things going on stage, which kind of gave him a break.
Take a little break.
And maybe Barry Manilow needs. I don't know what you're going to do for a 90-minute show. It sounds as if you need to sing 2 or 3 songs and somehow take a break and then pick up the microphone and sing a little bit more,
Right.
or maybe do
No,
a
you
shorter.
hook up with another old singer and y'all split it.
There you go. That would work.
Ta-da.
And texted in, said, saw Barry in concert a few years ago in Atlanta. Wonderful show. His voice was still perfect.
Oh,
Mm.
yeah.
That's great.
I'm sure that it's really close to that. And Rod Stewart's again, he was dealing with some vocal issues, and Richard said it was a great show. So
great.
glad to see that these guys are still able to do that. But I think you're right. If you have to come out on a wheelchair,
Yeah. Well, and Anne gave out. She didn't even
Yeah.
do all the songs. She just gave out.
Yeah.
So
well, sorry to see that.
I know me
It
too.
happens. It
I don't
happen-
want them to age.
Well, no, who
None of
does?
them.
But
None of
it's a really strange thing. I don't know what happened. Like some time went by, and then all of a sudden you're like, they're how old?
them. Right. Yes. Yes.
How did we go from it's
Right.
just it's life.
Yep.
It just absolutely passes you by really quick. Here's something that maybe you ought to keep an eye on. And I don't know if you guys are aware of it or not. For those of you that maybe consume a beverage here or there, watch your server. Apparently, while topping off one liquor bottle with the remnants of another behind the bar may look like a marriage of convenience. Experts say the practice is anything but harmless and that customers should know the warning signs. This, of course, is when they're mixing your drink at the bar, where they're like doing 2 of those. They say, you might ought to not let them do that, because apparently they're not supposed to. Marrying liquor bottles, as it's known in the industry, is prohibited under federal law, and state liquor laws generally mirror that rule. So when next time you're at a bar somewhere, if you drink a beverage, they're only supposed to do 1 bottle at a time. They're not supposed to marry them.
Right.
Did you know that?
No, I didn't. And so, you want to hope they have this so that they're not putting cheap vodka and mixing it with your Tito's, right? But what they're saying is you can't even take Tito's and mix with Tito's. too.
Right. You can't do
It's called misbranding or tampering.
that. Mm-hmm.
So wait a minute. I'm confused now. Are we talking about picking up 2 bottles and pouring them into a glass as they mix a drink?
Yeah, like you're the bartender and you take 2 things of alcohol and you pour them in like this into
To
your
the
drink,
glass.
into
You
the
can't
glass.
do that.
You can't do that.
So Cocktail's been lying to me all these years.
That's exactly right.
Yep.
Dang that Tom Cruise movie anyway.
Yep.
You've been
Yep.
watching too many movies.
Boy, he can flip those bottles and all that. I hadn't watched that.
Yeah,
movie in a
that
long
is
time.
pretty impressive.
Yeah, it
Speaking
is.
of movies, I saw one. I don't sit down and watch. I was looking for something to see. I think this was on Saturday night, and I think she's hysterical. Not everybody loves her. Melissa McCartney.
She's great.
That movie.
She has her moments,
My gosh.
and then she has her moments where I would just like to look at her and go, "What the?"
Uh-huh. A little bit of both of that, but I loved her in the movie Cops with Sandra Bullock.
Yes,
I don't know if you've
yes,
ever seen that.
Yes, that is a good.
I have
one.
a copy of that just so that when I'm in the mood, I
Yeah.
can watch it.
Yeah.
Absolutely love. I
Yeah,
think that's
a
a
funny
hysterical
movie.
movie.
That is a.
This
funny
one was
movie.
called The Starling. It's on Netflix, and she stars in it with Kevin Kline.
Okay.
And it has some very heavy stuff in it.
Mm-hmm.
It's serious, but there's also some hilarious moments in it. It's one of those films where 1 minute you could be crying, and the next minute you're like, I'm hysterically laughing. If you haven't seen it, I think it came out in 2021.
What's the name of it?
It's called The Starling.
The Starling.
The Starling.
I'm gonna give myself a reminder.
Yeah. Again, I wouldn't put it up there as an A++ movie, but if you're looking for something to watch, again, just be prepared. You might need a tissue, and at the same time, she's going to make you laugh because she's very funny in it as well. So you get to see both sides of her acting abilities.
So what about the weight she's lost?
Well, not in this film. She hadn't lost any
on
weight.
that Super Bowl, when she's in the
Oh
train,
yeah.
she looks totally different.
That's amazing,
Yep.
isn't it?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But
Ozempa.
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 Good stuff. I hear. We'll find out it's got some rough side effects, but you have to balance it. Is losing all that weight and how good that is for your body. Then you keep it off and you're able to
not
come off the
regain.
medicine. That would
Yeah.
be nice, but
Well, that's
you know.
what everybody says coming off of it is
Yeah.
the difficult
it's
part.
the difficult part. But it also makes you nauseated. If I was nauseated,
I
wouldn't
wouldn't want
eat.
it. Yeah.
I
I wish I had that problem
Yeah,
naturally.
me too. Or could push
Look
a
at
button.
food.
and-
I feel
Ugh.
nauseous. 8:47 back in a minute. It's Dixon and Vining at Talk 99.5. Hey, bartender. 8:51. Good morning, Dixon and Vining. Talk 99.5, talk995.com with Brooks Burdett in studio this morning. And let me just tell y'all something. With a temperature at 30 degrees right now, I know we could complain and moan. We've got the sunshine going for us, but we ain't dealing with anything they're dealing with up in the Northeast, and it is a mess.
Wow.
Blizzard warnings in effect. Warnings cover major hubs, including New York City, Philadelphia, and Boston, affecting more than 40 million people. The first blizzard warning for New York City since 2017. Extreme snowfall totals. Accumulations of anywhere from 12 to 24 inches of snow are expected across the I-95 corridor. Heavy snow rates are occasionally reaching 2 to 3 inches per hour. Life-threatening conditions, wind gusts of 50 to 75 miles per hour are creating whiteout conditions and nearly zero visibility. That is what these folks are dealing with. No, thank you.
Nope.
And
But all the school-age kids are getting a real snow day today.
yeah, they
No
are.
e-learning in New York. Go play.
I wouldn't
But
want.
you may blow away.
Yeah, I would not want any of this.
Nope.
No, thank you.
No.
A lot of flights. They said over 10,000 flights now have been canceled through Tuesday. Hubs like LGA are seeing cancellations rates over 97% for Monday. So nobody's getting in and nobody's getting out, and that's why Team USA Hockey is flying into Miami because they can't get into New York from the Olympics. They
All
are.
things being equal, which would you rather go
I
into,
think
New York or Miami?
Leave me in Miami and let's hang out by the pool, get a little sun. and-
Especially if you've just been in the
chill
Winter
out.
Olympics. You might be
Right.
a little
Wouldn't
burnt
that be
out on
nice?
snow and ice, you know?
Right. I'll just stay there. More than 500,000 customers right now are without power. So they are living a nightmare right now. That cannot be any fun. And again, when we moan and complain that, it's 30 degrees, it's cold out there, it's, we really don't have anything to, complain about.
Speaking of flying,
Yes.
I'm a big fan of Southwest.
Yes.
And they've gone to assigned seating.
Yeah. Do you like that?
I do. So I recently went to
I know some
Disney.
people who
I
absolutely
recommend it.
hate it.
I
Do they?
Let me
Oh, yeah.
tell you my experience. I recommend Disney, by the way, for everybody. But
Disney. Okay.
so we get on the plane with assigned seating. People were seated much quicker. And the flight attendant came out and said, "We want you guys to know that this is our first flight, this whole crew, including the pilots, that have dealt with assigned seating. This is the quickest we have ever seated a full plane." That's what they told us. Now, this was like flying out of Birmingham, okay? And so they were saying, "Thank you for your patience. You did great. And if this is a sign for us of what this is going to mean, we can make your flight easier because this went so much quicker." So that's
Yeah.
what the flight attendant said. I didn't hear people complaining.
I'll
but,
tell you my experience because I flew, was it November, to Arizona for my nephew's wedding on Southwest. And I'll tell you why it slows down the seating process before they started doing assigned seating. So I had a before experience. You've had an after. Is that, and people do it, even though they get on the microphone and tell them not to do it. They try to, let's say there's two of you and there's 3 seats. People try to pretend that somebody's sitting in one of the seats so that they have the extra seat,
Yes.
and they'll put a bag or a
Right.
jacket or something like that.
Yep.
Well, it slows the process down. If you have a full plane, you've got people trying to figure out, is there an available seat?
Right.
And yes, some people go, is that seat taken?
Right.
And then, no, and you got to have that whole
That's
conversation.
right. That's right.
If you have an assigned seat, you go to your seat and you sit down.
Right. Right.
So yes, I would understand that would help to speed up the process and not cause that big, where am I sitting? And, I don't want to sit back here. And now you got a person that's trying to go
Right.
back through the people to go up 4 or 5 rows
Right.
to sit in a seat that they saw a minute ago. All of that slows the process down.
Right. Right.
And, and I can understand that. I'm sure those that work for Southwest
Yeah.
Airlines that are trying to get people boarded and seated, that does make it a lot easier.
Yeah,
I would
it does.
think.
And we had a child with us, and it's so much nicer to know all that's worked out. It just is, because you don't worry.
What do you think about the phenomenon of everybody that now carries their luggage on board? Very few people now are checking
Right.
bags through.
Right. That slows everything down, and they always run out of space. That's what I don't
Always.
understand.
Yeah.
Always somebody's having to check a bag. Why are they running out of space? If every seat has its own little place in the overhead bin.
Well, let's say this, and maybe this is it, maybe it's not. That you have that small suitcase, that
Mhm.
20-inch suitcase that fits in the overhead bin, and you have a backpack,
Yeah.
and you put that backpack with the
You shouldn't
little
be able
suitcase.
to. You should
Right,
be able to
put
put
it-
one thing in the
one
overhead.
thing. But
Yep.
not everybody's doing that.
But
Nope.
this is the equal and opposite reaction to them charging us $25 or more for checking a bag.
Yep. Yep.
Isn't that game fun?
Yeah.
It's like, how much is this ticket? Oh, I'm getting a great deal on this ticket. Oh, now
Now you gotta
all
pay
the
this.
add-ons with everything. You're
Right.
like, oh God.
Well, that was the first time that I had checked a bag in a long time, and it was because we were going for so many days. But the weather was also cold in Orlando, so we
Oh,
had to
you had to
we had to
carry.
dress for. And anytime I have to change planes, I'm extremely nervous about checking a bag.
I don't.
But
I
this
don't care
time-
for it.
And now through your app, you can tag, you can see where your luggage
Mm-hmm.
is, and you would hope they can too, so they don't lose it. But when you have a direct flight, I don't like paying. It was $35. I don't like paying that, but it sure was nice not having to haul a suitcase.
Yeah,
through the airport.
it is.
So,
It is nice,
anyway.
and sometimes it's worth it.
Yeah,
Sometimes
Disney is too expensive, but golly, what a great trip! Oh, we had so much fun.
Is it cheaper to go to the beaches of Gulf Shores than go to Orlando, or is it more expensive to go to Orlando? Let's
It's
say for a week.
more expensive.
Orlando.
Well, I'll just tell you, I was there, flew out on a Wednesday morning, flew back the next Monday, stayed at a Disney resort that, we had some other things to do, so we rented a car, but there was a day all we had to do is get on the bus and go to the resort. Everything, flight, and we did the lightning passes because
Yeah.
spend that extra money because you don't want to spend your time at the park standing in line.
all day
okay?
long, right?
We did
Especially in the middle of the
Meals.
summer.
everything, $4,000
Wow.
for one person. And I went with a family who was extremely organized, and we had
Wow.
what ride we were going to be on at what time.
Are you serious?
$4,000? And listen, we were not going out spending a lot of money on food. We
Do
were
you know
there.
you could go see the Eagles in Vegas
Yep.
for what you're talking about?
Yep. Yep.
Times
Yep.
two,
Yep.
probably.
Well, what is sad to me
Good
is,
gracious.
not everybody can afford that. I had to save for it, and kids don't get to go because it's too daggum expensive, and that's terrible. That's terrible.
Come on, Disney.
Yep.
Make it more affordable
Yeah.
for the kids.
And unfortunately,
It's for the kids.
Six Flags ain't Disney.
no,
you know?
it's not.
It's not. It's
It's
changed
not.
a lot.
Yeah.
But Disney was great.
Well, I'm glad you had a good
Toy
time.
Story Land,
Loved it.
just loved it. Best ride was the Avatar because you fly. You literally fly. It was great. It's good stuff.
When are you going back?
As soon as I can save up some money.
Another $4,000.
Another $4,000. Several
Good
years.
heavens.
Yep.
That's shocking.
Yes. And that was, cutting it. I'm telling you.
Man, you go to the
Crazy
beach for a
expensive.
week with 10 people.
And that's one person, 4,000.
Good gracious,
I know.
Brooks.
I know. Pretty
Well,
tough.
I was thinking about going to Disney, but
But I had the
Now that
greatest
you
time.
told me
I
that.
had the best time. It was wonderful.
I'm so glad.
Yep.
All right, back in a minute. Talk 99.5.